everybody. Today I'm going to do a video on mastering a fire. This video is specifically for a young man my daughter goes to school with named Sam Billman, who was asking questions about fire making. So I got a little jump here, but first thing you're going to do, guys, is you're going to make sure that all of the materials that you're going to use is nice and dry. We're in the wet season here, it's winter time, so I'm going to use a stick to start this fire, but I want to make sure that I get something that's off the ground, that's not been laying on the ground. I want to get a branch that's been hanging, away from the ground. First thing you want to do is you got to get what they call fluff or a tinder bundle. So the way we're going to get the fluff is we're just going to take our knife, we're just going to scrape a branch. You want to start when you get the outer layer off that might have been exposed to moisture, and we'll start by scraping the inner layer. Just like that. And then you end up with fluffy material. Okay, next thing we're going to do is curls, which is these here. And you do that the same way, except you're going to flatten your knife out a little bit, and you're just going to kind of whittle it off. This is bigger than fluff, it just makes like a nice curl in there. You'll end up with things like these, which are curls. And then you got this type stuff, which is your fluff. Now, before I ever start a fire, I want to make sure that I have all my materials on hand to start a fire. There's things you need to understand about starting a fire. Number one, fires only achieved 1,112 degrees. So that's where the fluff comes in. I'm going to do this with a ferro rod, which generates a spark of 1,500 degrees. I need that spark to be captured by something that I can generate to 1,200 degrees, or 1,112 degrees. So that's where your fluff comes in, because it'll catch your spark. I can then generate that spark. Once I have a little ember, I can generate that into this to a fire at 1,112 degrees. Next thing I would do is fire loves to climb. Fire has to climb. It's got to grow. That's what keeps it going. It needs oxygen, fuel, and it has to be able to grow. So that's where I'd make these curls. Those are the next things that's going to go on that fire. The fluff will catch it. The fluff's what's going to generate the nice strong ember, if not the whole fire. And then my curls is going to go on there, which will allow the fire to grow. I'll then go from that into some bigger stuff, some little twigs size stuff, on up into bigger stuff till I have my fire. One thing that's important when you're doing this in the cold season, wet seasons, is not to let it come in contact with the ground. Anything that's dry like this is going to suck the moisture out of the ground. So at this point is where I would make a log raft. I'm hoping that's showing up on the video for you. We're going to get this log raft set up like that. Make them seat tight to the ground. Now is when I take my fluff. I'll place my fluff right in the middle of that log raft, okay? My fluff, once I have that, now this is a ferro rod. If I can get to this point right here, and it's nice and dry, and I'm able to start it like this, I should have no problems with a lighter. At this point, if I was to hit that with a lighter, it would go pretty fast. You want it to go in 10 seconds or less with a lighter. But with this, it has to be to the point where I could get that to go at 10 seconds or less with a lighter. So I'll go from right here with this, and I just want my spark to land on that, into that fluff. So I'll start right here. Once you get it going, you got nice dry material there. So that'll go. Next thing I'm going to do at that point is I'm going to start adding my curls. Now I don't want to just go dump a big handful of curls on there, because I'll suffocate my fire. What I want to do is slowly add my curls to my fire. Just like that, till they get going. Once I have them on and it's all going, like I said, it has to climb. Fire likes to climb and grow. So at that point, that's where I'm going to come in and I'm going to start putting my smaller stuff on there. Because now this will have enough heat generated to continue to burn hotter than the ignition of the fire, which enables me to then start applying my fuel to it to continue on with my fire. Dry material, air, the right setups, and you can achieve fire pretty easily. Now, it may be harder if your material's wet. Wetter, damper. If you get down to the cores of things, like it has an outer layer on there, if I was to take my knife and just peel that outer layer off, it's dry down in here. So that's where I would get my dry material from. You don't want to go crowding your fire at first. You just want it to go slowly. Slowly add things to it. Let it build itself. Understanding the elements of fire. If you're running out and you're picking things, weeds and barks off of cedar trees, things like that. Once you understand the element of a fire and you've mastered that by being able to start a fire with a spark, it's pretty simple from there. The more you practice it, like anything else, the better you're going to be. You can't starve your fire and you can't feed it too much. When I get like that right there is when I'll start putting my bigger stuff on the sides to get it going. As long as that's still getting air, I'll be in good shape. So Sam Bilbin, I hope that helps you, buddy. I hope you're able to achieve fire. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask.